They smile at your funeral while planning your downfall. In boardrooms across the world, decisions are made that will destroy entire families, and the people making those decisions sleep peacefully at night. This is the reality nobody wants to discuss. Power doesn't care about your feelings, your morals, or your good intentions. It only respects one thing: results. Sun Tzu wrote about war, but he was really writing about life. Every interaction is a battle. Every conversation is negotiation. Every relationship is a transaction. The moment you forget this, you become prey. You become the person others use to climb higher while pushing you down. Most people live their entire lives without understanding this fundamental truth. They believe in fairness, justice, and karma. They think good things happen to good people. They operate under the illusion that playing by the rules will protect them. This naive thinking is exactly why they remain powerless. The generals who shaped history understood something different. They knew that the battlefield isn't just physical terrain. It's psychological, mental, emotional. The real war happens in minds, not just with weapons. Control the narrative, and you control the outcome. Shape perception, and you shape reality. When someone truly wants to destroy you, they don't announce their intentions. They don't send warnings or ultimatums. They study your patterns, identify your weaknesses, and wait for the perfect moment to strike. While you're focused on being liked, being fair, being reasonable, they're building a strategy to eliminate you completely. The most dangerous opponents aren't the ones who hate you openly. Those enemies are easy to spot and defend against. The truly lethal ones are those who pretend to support you while systematically undermining everything you've built. They attend your celebrations, congratulate your successes, and secretly document every mistake you make for future use. This isn't paranoia. This is awareness. Understanding human nature means accepting that most people are driven by self-interest above everything else. They'll sacrifice your dreams to protect their comfort. They'll betray your trust to advance their position. They'll destroy your reputation to preserve their own. So, how do you survive in this environment? How do you build something that cannot be torn down by jealous hands and bitter hearts? You learn the art of strategic invisibility. You master the psychology of influence without appearing threatening. You become indispensable while remaining unreachable. First, never reveal your full hand. Information is currency, and most people spend it too freely. They share their plans, their fears, their ambitions with anyone who will listen. This is suicide in slow motion. Every detail you reveal becomes ammunition that can be used against you later. Keep your objectives hidden, your methods mysterious, and your true capabilities unknown. Second, build multiple streams of security. Never depend entirely on one source of income, one relationship, or one reputation. Diversification isn't just financial advice, it's survival strategy. When you have options, you have power. When you're dependent, you're controllable. The person who can walk away from any situation is the one who controls it. Third, study your environment relentlessly. Pay attention to who benefits when you fail. Notice who changes their behavior when you succeed. Watch for patterns in how people treat you versus how they talk about you when they think you're not listening. These observations will reveal true character better than any conversation or promise. Fourth, control the timing of your actions. Rushed decisions lead to costly mistakes. Emotional responses create exploitable weaknesses. When someone provokes you, they're usually trying to make you act impulsively so they can predict and counter your moves. Instead, take time to analyze the situation, consider all angles, and respond when the conditions favor your success. Fifth, master the art of strategic relationships. This doesn't mean being fake or manipulative. It means understanding that every person in your life serves a function. Some provide emotional support, others offer practical assistance, and some exist purely as sources of information. Recognize these roles and invest accordingly, but never confuse professional utility with personal attachment. The masters of power throughout history shared one common trait. They understood that perception shapes reality more than facts do. People don't respond to what actually happened, they respond to what they believe happened. Control the story, and you control the response. Frame the narrative, and you determine the outcome. This is why reputation management is more important than actual performance. A mediocre person with excellent image control will often achieve more than a brilliant person who neglects how others perceive them. Fair? No. Reality? Absolutely. When building your image, consistency is everything. Every interaction, every communication, every public appearance must align with the persona you're creating. Mixed signals create confusion, and confusion breeds distrust. People need to know exactly what they're getting when they deal with you. But here's the crucial element most people miss. Your public image should be strategically incomplete. Reveal enough to be interesting, but not enough to be predictable. Share your successes, but keep your methods private. Display your results, but hide your struggles. Let others wonder how you do what you do. The moment people can fully understand your process, they can replicate or sabotage it. Mystery creates respect. Predictability creates contempt. The magician who reveals his tricks loses his power. The strategist who explains his methods hands his enemies the blueprint for his destruction. Now, let's discuss the psychology of intimidation without aggression. True power doesn't need to announce itself loudly. It doesn't require threats or displays of force. Real influence operates through subtle pressure, implied consequences, and strategic positioning. When you develop genuine competence in your field, when you build authentic relationships with key players, when you consistently deliver results that others cannot achieve, you create a natural deterrent against those who might consider crossing you. They understand that attacking you could cost them more than tolerating you. This is how you become genuinely untouchable. Not through fear or manipulation, but through becoming so valuable, so connected, and so competent that harming you would be counterproductive for your potential enemies. They may not like you, but they need what you provide or respect what you represent. However, there will always be someone willing to take risks to bring you down. Jealousy, ambition, and desperation make people do irrational things. For these situations, you need defensive strategies that protect without provoking. Document everything important. Keep records of agreements, conversations, and commitments. When disputes arise, facts trump emotions. Written evidence defeats verbal accusations. Preparation prevents most problems, and proof resolves the rest. Build alliances strategically, not emotionally. Identify people whose success depends partially on your success. These relationships create natural protection because harming you would harm them. Mutual benefit generates more reliable loyalty than personal affection ever will. Maintain multiple backup plans for every critical situation. If one approach fails, you need alternatives ready immediately. If one relationship ends, you need others to provide similar benefits. If one income source disappears, you need others to prevent financial vulnerability. Most importantly, never let temporary setbacks convince you to abandon long-term thinking. Every powerful person faces periods of difficulty, criticism, and apparent defeat. The difference between those who recover and those who never rise again is their ability to maintain strategic perspective during emotional storms. When others attack your reputation, respond with improved performance, not defensive arguments. When they question your methods, demonstrate better results. When they challenge your position, strengthen your foundation instead of fighting for recognition. Results speak louder than words, and consistency defeats criticism. The ultimate goal isn't to be feared or loved universally. It's to be respected consistently. Respect comes from competence, reliability, and strength of character. It can't be demanded or manipulated. It must be earned through sustained excellence. People respect those who keep their word, deliver quality work, and maintain their principles under pressure. They respect those who help others without expecting immediate return, who share credit for successes while taking responsibility for failures. But respect also requires boundaries. You must be willing to say no to requests that compromise your values or overextend your resources. You must be prepared to defend your interests when others try to exploit your generosity. Kindness without strength becomes weakness that others will abuse. The path to becoming truly untouchable isn't about building walls or creating enemies. It's about developing such genuine value, such authentic competence, and such strategic thinking that attacking you becomes obviously counterproductive for anyone with rational judgment. You become untouchable not by being unreachable, but by being irreplaceable. Not by being feared, but by being indispensable. Not by hiding from challenges, but by consistently overcoming them in ways that demonstrate your unique capabilities. This requires patience, discipline, and continuous learning. It demands that you study not just your field of expertise, but human psychology, strategic thinking, and the patterns that govern success across different domains. Most people want shortcuts to power. They seek techniques and tactics that will give them immediate advantages over others. But sustainable influence comes from fundamental development, building skills, character, and relationships that create long-term value for everyone involved. The greatest strategic minds in history weren't remembered for their cunning or ruthlessness. They were remembered for their ability to create win-win situations, to find solutions that served multiple parties, and to build systems that lasted beyond their own lifetimes. True untouchability comes from being so genuinely useful, so consistently valuable, and so strategically positioned that your success becomes intertwined with the success of others. When people need you to succeed for them to succeed, they protect you automatically. This is the ultimate lesson. Power isn't taken by force or manipulation. It's given willingly by people who benefit from your success. Build that dynamic, and you build something that cannot be torn down by jealousy, gossip, or temporary opposition. Your greatest protection isn't walls or weapons. It's being genuinely indispensable to the people who matter most in your domain. Make yourself irreplaceable, and you become truly untouchable.